Anderson Ford. It's our Ford Summer Sales event, and I promise you, you can save serious dollars on a large selection of our 2024 Fords. We've got financing as low as 0% for 36 months on 2024 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, plus all-electric F-150 Lightning and Mustang Mach-E. And on all these Fords I just mentioned, you'll make no down payment and no payments for 90 days. Can you say Orange Beach, here we come? This is going to be a good summer. Come choose from over 550 new Fords, and you'll learn firsthand that nobody will work harder to earn your business. Brand new, award-winning Fords with 0% financing, no down payment, and no payment for 90 days with your good credit. This offer ends 9/3/24. Come see us today and make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
The Huntsville Men's Clinic open in 2020 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Huntsville Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for years. Our friendly, discreet team of urologists and doctors will take the time to listen. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. We even offer treatments for size increase with instant results. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 256-368-0333 or go to HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Well, welcome. We're here today to celebrate a tough team, a storied football program. This year's Commander-in-Chief Trophy winners, the Army Black Knights. We're also joined by Army football's biggest fan, Bill and Steve of the radio show Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Well, thanks for making a trip from Alabama.
Welcome, Army sports fans, from sea to shining sea. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and the mere sound of my voice lets you know that once again, it's just about time for Army Black Knight football. And tonight, you heard our little introduction, our lead in from the president. Steve and I went to the White House this year. I think we were the only media members invited other than some of the Army folks. And we have a little shakeup in our lineup this year. We have, as usual, Steve Cripey, the one and only human Ouija board.
Yeah, and you continue, you persist in using the word mere and your voice. I'm sorry, it doesn't work.
It's not a mere voice, I guess, and
not even a mere cat. But
and tonight we're also going to be joined occasionally this year with Barrett the Dirt Pig Crawford, who can
hello.
He can still get into his cadet uniform.
Barely. I just ate a large pizza, so it's a little tight, little warm down here in Alabama.
Well, you had a much easier time getting into your dress grade than Bill or I would have.
I can't even get my arm in it. But Barrett's here now. He's stationed at Redstone Arsenal, and he's tell him the origin of the Dirt Pig and how you got that nickname.
The big boy college football teams, their offensive lines are hogs, and the sprint football 172-pound or former 150s were the pigs, were the smaller version of that. So
the Dirt Pigs.
Dirt Pigs. We played dirty and rough.
Dirty and rough.
Well, hey, before we get too far down the road, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that somebody's having a big special day today.
Ooh.
And that is Steve's birthday. So, Steve,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Good. Rough day at work. It was not your typical birthday. And then tomorrow morning, Ramon and I get on a plane to visit my oldest brother and his wife. So we really haven't had the birthday festivities yet. We'll work that in at some point.
So you didn't think going to get a pizza with Barrett and I?
Well, that was a good plan B. Yeah.
Always a treat.
Well, folks, let me tell you a little bit about the show we have coming up. Well, before I do that, let me mention our great sponsor, Brian Hamaker with NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Brian wanted me to make sure and mentioned the fact that interest rates are going down. And he said, now, if you really want to refinance, now is a good time to do it. And Brian and his team can do that for you very well. They did it for me at one time in my life. And also, if you have a bunch of high credit card debt, now is the time to refinance and knock that stuff out. And you can do that with Brian and his team at NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. And they really are veteran friendly too down there. So if you have those kind of needs, go ahead and get a hold of Brian and his team and make that happen. But back to the show tonight. We have got an awesome lineup. In a few minutes, we're going to be joined by offensive coordinator, Coach Cody Worley.
Yeah, newly promoted offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he was the guy who he took over the reins as the offensive coordinator last year during the Coastal Carolina game. And
sort of an in-game audition there for offensive coordinator, and obviously the results went well, and I think they made the right call. Hated for Drew Thatcher, but I just think that was a steep hill for him coming from Division III into Division I, and but solid character. I wish him nothing but the best in his future.
Now he's a great guy, and he will succeed no matter where he goes. I think that Coach Monken learned last year that we can deal with the blocking changes that he thought was requiring him to change the offense. And so we went back to predominantly a run game, and we'll be talking to Coach Worley about that. How's that going to look this year? And our second half of the show, right after the 8 o'clock hour, somebody give me a drum roll. How about that? That's okay. Bailey, man, you can't come up with a drum roll in there. No, okay. That's okay. But if you're a college football fan, the name Phil Steele should mean something to you. Phil does for 30 years, he's done an analytic report. Well, Steve, tell him a little more about what Phil does. Yeah,
I mean, he is, he's basically got computer models that analyze each team, additions, subtractions from the rosters, changes in their approach, player injury, transfer portal, factors that all in and gives just a great assessment on where a team stands coming into the new year. And then, as we know, we unpack during the interview, he also has some in-season prognostication. So if you follow a team and you don't want to know sort of trends and those kind of things, or if you do sort of the college fantasy football, or if you like to bet on games,
just a little bit.
He's got just the great analytics behind it, and he was just a pleasure to talk with.
And Phil Steele normally is the kind of guy who you hear on Mike Greenberg's show or Paul Feinbaum's show, but tonight you get to hear him on our little show, and we were pleased to join him. By the way, that's a pre-recorded interview that's going to be coming on at about 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Central?
8 o'clock Central time. So you won't see any video while that's going on. It'll say we'll be back soon, but you will hear the interview. So football season's coming up.
Football's here.
That was almost an uncomfortable pause. It was okay. Well, hey, punctual. Let's do.
Well, guess what, folks? Coach Worley is on the line already, so we're going to go ahead and start that interview. Coach, are you there?
I'm here. How we doing, gentlemen?
Well, Coach, we're doing great, and hadn't seen you since we were strolling the halls of the White House, but it's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys.
That was subtle, Bill. Hey,
good shout out.
Hey, Cody, I just want not to make you nervous, but your mom joined our Facebook page today, so she's probably listening. So
okay,
put your best foot forward.
No, that'd be great.
Well, Coach, there's a lot of things we want to talk to you about tonight, and for the time that we have you. And by the way, thank you for the time. Hopefully, it's not your wife's birthday again, which it was last time we interviewed you.
Yeah, we're good, man. Whatever you guys need.
Well, Coach, I'll start the ball rolling with a question about the offense. I know when we spoke in person, we asked you a little bit about, what's the mix of the offense going to be, what's going to be the percentage of run versus pass. We don't want you to give any secrets away to the Mountain Hawks, but what's your offensive philosophy to run the Army team?
Well, I think, first of all, you look at the personnel that we have, and I think we have a very dynamic, versatile group, which fortunately for us gives us some options, and no pun intended, but it gives us options in a lot of different ways. And, whatever we can do to get our best players and opportunities to be successful, that's part of our goal to do those things. But we do have a lot of guys with versatility, so it gives us some options in the pass game. It gives us options, flexibility in formations, and it allows us to do a lot of different things. And then I'm obviously very comfortable with Bryson Daly running the show. He's a veteran guy and has done a great job of leading this offense. He's continued to get better. Every facet of his game has improved from last season, and through all the process of spring and the summer, he's come a long way. But I'm really excited about the group of guys we have, really starting up front, and the skill guys, the running backs, the wide receiver core. We got a lot of familiar faces, but then we've got some guys that will get their first opportunity to kind of showcase their skill set. But in terms of long-winded, in terms of what we have to do to be successful will be determined on personnel and really what the defense has given us. I think we have an opportunity to be efficient and explosive, and we've got to put our guys in the best opportunity to succeed.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, you mentioned Bryson and sort of his maturation. I mean, you're coming into offensive coordinator after being the quarterback coach, so your fingerprints are all over him. What have you seen in his most recent development, really coming into spring ball and preseason? What are some of the specifics you've seen that just have encouraged him, or encouraged you that he's ready to take that next step?
Well, one thing, just coming off of last season, and winning those last 4 games and really playing really well in the last 4 games to give us an opportunity, and that gave him confidence. And that was a huge stepstone for him, just coming back into the off season and being elected team captain. And one thing about Bryson is he has an edge and a chip on his shoulder. So, he doesn't read into the press clippings, and he doesn't care about individual accolades. All he cares about is this team, and he cares about this offensive unit. He's a phenomenal kid. He's tough. He's smart. He's a student of the game, but he has an edge, and he works really hard at his craft. And every day, he puts in extra work, and he stays after practice. He meets with me individually. He leaves nothing to chance, and that's what it takes to play quarterback at a high level. But I think he came into this off season and really accepted the role as a captain and what that really means, especially playing the quarterback position, but also being the captain of the offense and the team and Army football and what that stands for. And he's really embraced his role. And I've been really impressed with how he's handled his business. And he comes to work every day with a sense of urgency. And, there's not a small detail that's too small for him. He wants to improve fundamentally every day. He wants to improve in every facet of his game, and it shows with his work ethic and his preparation. And I'm really excited to see him play. And I'm really encouraged with how he's progressed throughout the spring, throughout the summer, into fall camp. And it's like I've told everybody, he's improved in every facet of his game. Just, fundamentals. What he is when he has the ball in his hand. He's really tough and a ruthless runner, but he's improved in every aspect, and I'm really excited to see what he does this season.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Well, hey, Coach, this is the little Crawdad talking. My question's about the running back core, and our Army, kind of quote unquote going back to the old offense, but it's still the new offense, but with a slight modification with the blocking zone. What do you see the running back core doing specifically with Kanye Udo? I mean, he had a big production last year, and I mean, how are they going to be looking this year?
You look at that core of the backfield and the guys that we have coming back, and obviously Kanye gets a lot of the attention, and I'm really excited about him and how he's progressed and what he's capable of. He's improved, just like Bryson. Last year was the quote unquote freshman phenom, but he had a lot of aspects of his game that he needed to improve, and he's done those things. He's worked really hard. and you're going to see a better version of Kanye. And I'm really excited about what that's going to look like. And, him being a focal point of the offense. But there's a lot of other talented guys in that backfield that gives us, like I said, versatility. And, you've got a guy like Jake Rendina, who haven't seen a whole lot. He played some last year in some different roles. But he's one of those throwback guys. He changed his jersey number to 33 in honor of Mike Vitti, who's on our staff.
Oh, there you
Nice.
go.
And he plays that way. He's ruthless. He's aggressive. He's really good. I'm excited to see what he can do, both with the football and without it. And, the other guys, Hayden Reed is our Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
You saw him rush for over 100 yards against UTSA last year. Really good, in the Boston College game and really throughout the season. But, you're going to see him in a variety of roles. And he's a really dynamic player. He's one of our best players on offense. And we've got to find ways to get him involved in a lot of different ways. And he's a really good football player. So I anticipate seeing, you'll see him in a lot of different ways. And he gives us versatility at multiple positions. But, you got veteran guys. Miles Stewart is back. And, he's taking a leadership role and doing a really good job. Noah Short, who was a splash player last year and showed some really dynamic plays. I'm excited about his growth and maturation, and he's becoming a complete slot and doing a lot of different things. I'm really excited about him. And then some young guys, you're going to see some guys, Samari Howard, who hasn't played, who will be a sophomore. He's had a great camp and great spring. And I think he'll be a contributor. And then other guys as well. But, anytime you have, multiple guys that we can talk about, it's very encouraging, and it gives us depth at a lot of the backfield positions. And I'm excited to see those guys on Friday night. That's for sure.
Hey, Coach, speaking of depth, it seems like for the last couple of years, Army always needs to have more than one quarterback. That's just the nature of the game we play. And tell us a little bit about who is in the quarterback room and besides Bryson.
Yeah, so the four guys that we have up right now, the backup is Dwayne Coleman. So he's a name that's kind of been around. He's steady Eddie. He's done a phenomenal job this offseason as well. He's a guy that I trust and has gotten a lot better. And he has a lot of things in his game that he's improved on, but he's done a great job grasping the offense, controlling the offense, and doing things that, I would not flinch if he went into the game. And that's really important, like you said. But he's come a long way in leadership. The guys trust him, and that's incredibly important. But he's done a great job. And every opportunity that he's had, he sees his moment. And, he's led the first offense when Bryson was resting, and we didn't skip a beat. And that's incredibly positive. But he's done a great job, and he'll enter as the backup. And then some young guys, Cale Helms, who will be a sophomore from Tomball, Texas. Really touted player coming out of high school, put up really good numbers on the ground and in the pass game. I would say he's the most improved quarterback of the group. And obviously that's a relative statement because all those guys have improved. But coming out of spring and adapting and doing a lot of things, he's become a guy that, through progression and the things that he's shown as of late, that he can be a guy that goes into the game. And he's built trust, and that's critical for me, coaching the quarterbacks and now coordinating the offense. You got to have a guy that you trust, that'll go in and do his job. And Cale has proven that he is capable of doing that. And I'm excited about his growth and maturation. And then my young gun, Ethan Washington, who will be a freshman. He's a freshman this season. He was a prep school guy last year. He's probably one of the most talented kids that we've had at the position, and he's grasped the offense incredibly fast. He's going to be a really, really good player. So I'm incredibly excited about him, and he's up with the varsity group. He gets reps during the week, and we're trying to, incrementally and get him growth and development. But I'm really excited about him. The group as a whole, they've continued to progress, and I'm excited about the group as a whole. And like you said, we're going to have an opportunity to play multiple quarterbacks. That's typically how the season goes. And I'm excited for those guys, and I think that they can go in and get the job done, and that's what's most important.
Oh, that's encouraging. Maybe to unpack your offensive philosophy a little bit more. Again, as Bill said, don't want to give away the secret sauce or anything like that.
Sure.
But prior to your predecessor, early years of Monken's tenure at Army, it seemed like the offensive philosophy with regard to the passing game was pass just enough to try to keep the offense or the defense honest, which translated into about one pass per every 8 plays. Your predecessor increased that. His philosophy seemed to be more, hey, if the defense is giving it to you, go ahead and pass it there. And it doubled the passing. But again, that was only 25% of the plays. We didn't go West Coast or anything. So
no doubt.
So clearly Monken has said goal is to lead the country in rushing. So what is the role of the passing game in your offense?
So I think when you look at it, and I think that's a lofty goal, but that's one of our goals, and we don't shy away from that. If we can run the ball and stop the run, it gives us a great opportunity to be successful. So, that's going to be at the forefront. But one of the other goals that is just particular for the offense is efficiency. So when you lead the country in rushing, or you're in the top 5, whatever that looks like, you also want to be in that category in passing efficiency. And that's the most critical component, is when we throw it, we're very efficient and explosive. And coming out of fall camp, coming out of spring, we have the capability of throwing because we want to throw it, not because we need to throw it, which is very encouraging. And we've got the skill set. We've got the guys up front. We've got the wide receiving core, our slot core, our backs. So, nobody is holding their breath when we call a pass play. That's part of our core offense. That's something that we're going to do, and that's something that you're going to see. But that's, we'll take advantage of what the defense has given us. And, when you can do both, you can be very explosive and hard to defend. And I think that we have the capability, we have the versatility, we have the trigger man, we've got what we need. But I expect that we should be able to effectively and efficiently throw the football, and not in just have to have it situations. I think it's a core piece of our offense. It's something that we do daily. It's something that is a focal point of who we are and what we do. And our kids have embraced that, and they've done a great job. And, I'm a quarterback, so that's my background. So I don't shy away from taking what the defense gives us and utilizing the pass game. And, that's something that I want defenses to have to defend and to be frightened of, quite frankly, to be honest. I want them to have to defend, every inch of the grass of the field, and then obviously be, scared that, hey, these guys can drop back and throw it. They can run play action. They can do things that we have to defend. So we're not one dimensional. We can be multiple. But those two things are we put a lot of critical time and energy into. Is you want to lead the country in rushing, but you also want to lead the country in passing efficiency and passing yards per completion. Excellent. And if we can do that and take care of the ball, we have a chance to be successful on offense.
Well, Coach, I can tell you this as we get ready to let you go. Your excitement is infectious. It's got me.
Yeah.
I'm
fired
sitting
up.
there going, when is Friday going to get here?
That's right.
I know. I can tell you. I know our kids are incredibly excited, and it's getting to be that time. It's been a long camp, but a productive camp. And I know our guys will show up at Mikey Stadium with a sense of urgency to kick off this 2024 season and showcase what we have. I'm really excited. I know they are, and I can't wait to hit the ground running. Tomorrow we have practice, so that's the most important thing on the slate right now. But like you guys, all of us, I'm excited to see our guys go out and compete against someone else and see what we have and cut it loose.
Well, hey, we're excited too, and we also really appreciate your time tonight. And we will let you get back home, and we will be anxiously awaiting a big defeat of the Mountain Hawks, the bird that doesn't exist.
You said it. Let's wish that into existence.
There you go. Appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, thanks,
And
Coach.
Bailey,
I
we can go ahead and
appreciate
take
you
a
guys
break
as
now.
always.
Thanks again.
Thanks again, Coach. And folks, we're going to be right back to talk a little bit about the upcoming game with the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Crawdad, back soon.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit northalabamamortgage.com for more information.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. This is going to be a very short segment. Then we're going to go to the top of the hour and play Phil Steele. So we have to talk a little bit about the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Lehigh from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, with an enrollment of about 5,000 students. They're a FCS, which means smaller school. They're not in our division, but that's a good one to open the season with. And Steve, I think that you have some analytics on Lehigh, even though they're hard to find.
Yes. One, they're just, wow, how to be kind. They struggled in the Patriot League last year. They went 2-9. So again, if you're familiar, most of us are familiar with the Patriot League. It's comprised of schools that don't offer athletic scholarships. They do go heavy academic scholarships for a lot of those athletes, so maybe it's a little nuanced. But even on the field, when you look at their stats, even at playing at the level that they did, I mean, they were outside the top 100 teams in most statistical categories. The only thing they really did well, they passed a little well, and then in the red zone. On both sides of the ball, they performed pretty well. They didn't get in the red zone very often, but what they did, they scored over 80% of the time.
Barrett, you have any quick comments on Lehigh?
Well, and Steve, looking at your very neat statistical charts, and I'm all about data. And I think
we're numbers guys.
I think it paints a pretty picture. But you got Lehigh. Well, I guess the data shows it. Big red zone defense, but I'd argue that Army, and for those who saw the last Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, maybe for the Army-Navy game, we had a big red zone defense stop against Navy. So I think I think it's a good home opener to start off the 2024 season, especially with the renovated Mikey Stadium, Ring Weekend, Branch Week. It's going to be a fantastic game.
The core is going to be stoked. But the other thing I would look at, Lehigh's got 18 returning starters, and as Coach Worley pointed out, we've got some guys that are going to be seeing action for the first time, starting for the first time, and so there may be some growing pains. But I think if Army can find their rhythm early, this could be just a great confidence builder as we look. Don't want to look ahead. But the next week we have our conference opener against Florida Atlantic.
And folks, we're going to get out of here for our break. The one thing I would say with a cautionary tale, sometimes these little schools give us fits. I'll harken back to Stony Brook, Bucknell, and even Yale. So Bailey,
you are just a glass half empty kind of guy, man.
It's going to be a great week.
Debbie Downer, Bill Crawford.
I'm not Debbie Downer. I'm just Charlie realistic. So Bailey, go ahead and take us out of here. And when we come back, we'll be with you for a couple of minutes and then right into Phil Steele. So back soon, Army fans.
Here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high, but so is average consumer debt? Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit northalabamamortgage.com for more information.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hey, Huntsville. Looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and we are pleased to be joined today by one of the most preeminent voices and scholars of college football in the United States of America, and that is Phil Steele, who is the publisher of Phil Steele's College Football Report, and that's been around for 30 years. And if you don't know Phil Steele, you're on the wrong radio station. You need to go listen to classic rock or something. So, Phil, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, a real pleasure, Bill. And like I said prior to the show off air, it's highly usual. It's very usual for me to do radio shows in Alabama about Army football. So when this one came across my desk, I said, you know what, I got to do that one.
Well, we're certainly glad you did, and you certainly glad you chose to do this interview. So, Phil, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Steve to start the ball rolling.
Yeah, Phil, as a longtime subscriber to your preseason publication, it's an honor to talk with you. So you go. I mean, you do the heavy lifting on this. You go around, interview all the coaches, compile that report, and that which is pretty formidable task. So you've talked to Monken now, Coach Monken, 11 times. So as you sort of think about that, and maybe even a little compare and contrast, what are some of those characteristics you've picked up from him that are noteworthy?
Well, I tell you what. First of all, you can always tell a solid football coach, and Coach Monken is just that. He is one of that gets every single year. It seems that he overachieves, my computer. My computer will come up with an Army win forecast, and every year he's topping it by a game or two. And that, to me, puts a big star by his name as being an outstanding head coach. And, he dealt with some problems. He came right out. And I remember the interview a couple of years back where, they changed the blocking rules. And I was unfamiliar with it. It was post-spring, and, I didn't know the gravity of it. And he took the time, explained it to me. I really appreciated that. And of course, last year they tried to go away from the option a little bit. Didn't have great success the first 9 weeks, but once they returned to the option, those final 4 weeks, things got a lot better. So hopefully the offense continues to roll this year. My computer thinks they'll get about 7 points per game more. And I think Coach Monken always gets the most out of the talent on hand, does a great job. And, Army's not able to use the transfer portal. And that's, the transfer portal can only hurt Army.
Yeah, that is a good point. And Phil, that leads me a good segue into the, on reading your report on Army, you did say we would probably be 7 points better this year. And do you think that's primarily because of the fact that we're going to go back more to our bread and butter, which is our running game, or does that maybe have a little to do with our schedule in the new AAC conference?
Yeah, it both. It's my computer's forecast on the game, so all those factors, my computer takes it all in, spits it out, matches it up against each opponent during the year. But one thing is, I gave Army's offense a boost in the offseason based on the way they finished last year. Being able to put up the points and run the football like they did those final games, I thought was huge. And then, you look at the American Conference schedule this year, and while joining the American Conference seems to be pretty tough, I think Army was given a pretty good first year. They don't have to play Memphis. They don't have to play Tulane, and they don't have to play USF. I think those are three of the top four teams in the league. The only top team that Army plays is UTSA. And I watched that UTSA game last year. Army really surprised me with a solid win on the road as the underdog. And I thought they pretty much dominated the game. UTSA had a tough time stopping them all game long.
Yeah, that I was surprised by that as well. So it just seems like there's certain teams that we play well, and UTSA over the years we have. Conversely, North Texas, we're in the same conference, always seems to give us fits. But you mentioned earlier about the transfer portal. And while you have a huge task in putting out your season preview each year, once upon a time, it was fairly straightforward. Okay, we've got these players that are graduating or no longer have any eligibility. We've on the inputs, we've got these commits, and sort of take a stab at who's going to be some of those first year player or impact players, and then the rest of the roster is largely stable. Now the transfer portal. So how have you adapted your methodology, or what kind of challenges has that presented to you in putting together that preseason preview?
Yeah, Steve, you hit it right on the head. In years past, let's say 5-10 years ago, I used to be able to go to the press in the middle of May. I've talked to all the head coaches through April and the start of May, knew their rosters inside and out. And like you said, they were set in stone pretty much. Freshmen had already been signed. And you knew the rosters. Now with this transfer portal, especially this year, for example, the transfer portal was open all the way until April 30th this year, and then it finally closed. Now, at that point, I knew all the players that entered the portal, but I didn't know where they landed. So I had to push the magazine all the way back to June 7th this year. We gave it the entire month of May and the first week of June to find out where all the players signed. And I think we captured about 99% of the players that signed. I believe there's been 2 or 3 that have signed since since we went to the press, but the summertime was pretty quiet. And while we went to the press probably a month after the other magazines did. I mean, at least we got the right guys on the right page, which I think is the most important thing in a magazine. I had coaches texting me 3 days before the deadline of the magazine saying, "Hey, I just got this guy," and I really appreciate all the help I get from the coaches on that. But it's made my job a lot tougher. I do the magazine in a 3 write-through process. The first write-through is after the season's over. I read through every article that's written about the team. I, of course, had watched the games. While it's all fresh in my mind, I give the ebbs and flows of each position and what happened in my forecast for the year. You have to readjust at the start of spring when the freshmen are added and the transfers are added. And then after talking to the head coaches was probably when to make my biggest adjustment, because you get some real good feedback on the positions and on the players. But you also have to rewrite and rewrite with the doggone transfer portal being so active.
Wow,
Hey, that's remarkable work.
Yeah, that is. I read your intro to your magazine. It seems like you have a great staff, and they put in a lot of work to make that happen. But a specific question about one of the Army players, and that is our quarterback, Bryson Daly. He had a good year last year, 900 passing, 900 rushing, and he's a leader. He's mature, and I think he's ready to take the team to perhaps a 9-win season. What are your thoughts on Bryson Daly?
Yeah, I think the possibility definitely exists. And as you touched on, when I talked to Coach Monk and the first words he told me about Daly, he's a good leader. And, he's like a fullback playing quarterback. He's a guy that doesn't mind mixing it up. He's tough to bring down. And yet he can throw. He's improved his passing, throws it good enough. And, with Army, I think the pass game lives on the fact that defenses have to put those extra guys in a box to stop the run. You're going to get some wide open pass plays, and I believe he can hit them. So that probably is going to be a key to the season this year, keeping Bryson Daly healthy. And I love tough guys playing quarterback spot, and Bryson Daly sums that up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So you're definitely known for your preview magazine each year, but you also do some stuff. You have some offerings in season in terms of the week by week analysis. Unpack that for us a little bit on what you provide there.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have Phil Steele Plus, which updates the stats each and every week during the year. Color codes everything in green and red, and you can see, team strengths and weaknesses at a glance. Has so much information. It's all the information I use to write the magazine and the handicap during the season. It's all on Phil Steele Plus. But I also do a newsletter called Inside the Press Box, and that's got all 97 games written this week. And to give you a sample, this week Army's playing Lehigh. I break it down. I tell you that the Mountain Hawks were 2-9 last year. They haven't played an FBS opponent since they lost to Navy by 30 points back in 2018. Army, of course, last year crushed Delaware State 57-0. My computer actually called for Army to win this game 41-10, but I bumped it up and made it Army 49-7. I like Army this week. I think they're going to be a good team on the season and a good team to play this week. So it gives you a complete write-up on each and every game. 97 games this week, guys.
Wow.
Hey, it's here. Phil, let me ask you another question kind of specific to Army. As you may or may not know, the east side of the stadium is gone right now. You have a beautiful view of Lusk Reservoir. Do you think that's going to have any impact on home field advantage at all with half the stadium not there?
Yeah, it has had impacts in stadiums before. I'll go back to Oregon State, for example. Oregon State had a rough year when they had only half the stadium. The stadium is under construction. The next year it got to like 75% capacity, then full capacity. And right now, Reeser is just one of the toughest places to go to. Oregon State was almost unbeatable at home. So I think it might have a slight impact on the team this season because it is tougher when you don't have that surround sound coming against your opponent on third down.
That's true.
Surround sound. That's a great way to put it. So let's sort of back up sort of at the macro level. There have been some seismic changes in the landscape of college football within the last few years. Transfer portal, we've already talked about, NIL, and now there's this the litigation that's going on between the NCAA and potentially making players, college employees. I mean, those kind of things. So what is your assessment about where college football is with regard to those changes? And once the dust settles, where do you see college football being, say 2-3 years from now?
Yeah, I think no matter what happens, college football will survive. I got to tell you, I'm not wild about players getting paid. I'm not wild about the Pac-12 conference no longer existing. I loved regional football. I love talking about the West Coast football or the Southern or, the Big Ten in the Midwest or the Atlantic Coast Conference, which now includes team from California. Might as well just call it the All Coast Conference. Not quite wild about those changes, but I tell you what, all the coaches I talk to, the first thing out of their mouth, if you bring up something like that, is, Phil, we've got to adapt. We've got to do this. And that's what they do for their team. And that's what I do for me. I've got to adapt. I've got to adjust. There's NIL now. There's transfer portal. There's everything that's happening. So while you may not like it, you have to adjust. And the one thing we find out, I remember when I first wrote the magazine 30 years ago, the Southwest Conference was disbanding. I was a little sad about that. Some teams going to the Big 12, some to the SEC, some didn't even go to a conference. Like SMU got left out of the Power 5 conferences at the time, as did a couple others. And I thought at that time, I'm like, wow, that's a big change. Nothing compared to what we're going through now. But I think when you look at it, college football will thrive. And if you're looking for my forecast of where college football will be 3 years from now, I'll tell you what, I had no idea we'd be here 3 years ago. So I'm just going to sit back and watch what happens and not try to predict it.
Phil, let me get back a little bit more to the Army thing. Could you share with us some of the insights or the highlights of your interview with Jeff Monken?
Yeah, I think, coming into the conversation with Coach Monken, the first thing I was worried about was the fact there was just 3 starters coming back on defense. But Coach Monken feels that this is a team that's going to have strength up front on the defensive line. He really liked guys like nose guard Kyle Lewis and defensive end Trey Sophia. And then you look at a couple other guys they got there like Caleb Fortner. It's going to be a pretty sturdy front despite the losses that they had from last year. And, the secondary is probably my main concern, but having Max back at the free safety spot I think is a big plus for them. And Army didn't rank super high in my past defense ratings, haven't really ranked there the last couple of years. So I think they need to stay healthy. One thing he did mention was in the secondary, they need to stay healthy and eligible. He said if they're not, then it puts them on pins and needles, and that's something to look at. So keep the secondary healthy. Defensive front will be better than expected. Offensive line looks to be pretty good. He feels good about it. He said not a lot of people are going to say the offensive line's great, but he really likes them. Connor is a guy that right tackle that is an NFL prospect for crying out loud. And having Brady Small and Lucas Scott back are 2 big-time pluses. So overall, I think we're going to have a pretty good Army team, and Coach Monken is pretty confident in it.
Hey, Phil, probably the final question. And again, thank you so much for joining us. I know our listeners are going to be thrilled that 2 little fish like us caught the big Phil Steele. But a question on your preseason report, you did note that you think Army is going to go to a bowl game, but I didn't see anywhere the projected win total. Does your computer or you have a projected win total for this year?
Right now I've got them a slight underdog in 2 games, a 7-point dog in 2 games, and a 24-point dog to Notre Dame. So I guess that would put the win total at 6 or 7.
Okay. Well, and again, you're right. That will get us into a bowl game. And Steve and I are a little more optimistic than that.
we have to be more optimistic. Yeah,
we're
homers, and we don't try to hide it.
Well, let's go get another Commander-in-Chief trophy.
There you go.
Maybe we'll get to go to the White House again. But hey, Phil, before we let you go, again, thank you for being with us today, and please tell our listeners how they can follow you the best and most easily accessible way throughout the season.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, if you're on Twitter or X, you can follow me at Phil Steele 042. That's at Phil Steele 042. The website is real easy, philsteele.com, and up there just tons of information. Check out the daily blogs, but Phil Steele Plus, I guarantee you, it's like the magazine. a magazine I'm limited in space on, and that's why the type's so small, but it's crammed with information, like getting 134 media guides rolled into one. But the website, I've got unlimited sources. So, I mean, it's like getting just history on every single team is amazing there. But the magazine's available at Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, and Books A Million's right there in Alabama, as you know. And then I put out the weekly newsletter, Inside the Press Box. More information on that at philsteele.com would be the place to go. But I got to tell you guys, this was, like I said, when it came across my desk, the first thing I'm like, wait a minute, Alabama, Army football, what the heck is the connection? And the fact that you guys were taken to the White House last year, I think that speaks volumes about the work that you do. So I appreciate you guys having me on. This was definitely a lot of fun.
Well, just
fantastic.
One final thing about the connection. You know, Huntsville, Alabama is the home of Redstone Arsenal, and there are more West Point graduates in this town than anywhere except Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
wow.
Yeah, it's one of those unknown facts out there. But hey, Phil, thank you so much. Great chatting with you.
And we will let you go.
A lot of fun talking football with you guys today. Thanks for having me on.
And then we'll say, go Army, beat Navy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you much. And folks, that was Phil Steele, and we'll be back in a minute to wrap up the show.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit northalabamamortgage.com for more information.
This summer, make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Make it 0% financing, make it no down payment, and make no payments for 90 days. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's our Ford summer sales event, and I promise you can save serious dollars on a large selection of our 2024 Fords. We've got financing as low as 0% for 36 months on 2024 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, plus all-electric F-150 Lightning and Mustang Mach-E. And on all these Fords I just mentioned, you'll make no down payment and no payments for 90 days. Can you say Orange Beach, here we come? This is going to be a good summer. Come choose from over 550 new Fords, and you'll learn firsthand that nobody will work harder to earn your business. Brand new award-winning Fords with 0% financing, no down payment, and no payment for 90 days with your good credit. This offer ends 9/3/24. Come see us today and make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey, Huntsville. Looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is the final segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. We're glad you joined us, and we certainly enjoyed having Phil Steele there. And one thing I do want to mention, I should have said this before, on a pre-recorded interview, there is no live video of us. It's just the interview. So sorry about that.
We were going nuts off the camera. So
yeah, we were beating each other about the head and shoulders. So before I forget it, I want to mention one thing about Nick's Ristorante, our great sponsor, who is, as I say, a driver and a pitching wedge south of the intersection of Bailey Cove Road and Weatherly. Tom Chapman, the owner down there, is starting to have a little football thing that they've really never done before. Starts at 2:00, a little $10 buffet. And if you happen to go down there this Saturday and be the first person to tap me on the shoulder and say, "Go Army," you will get a Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff t-shirt. So you got to show up and do that.
It's a good shirt.
Well, let's talk a little bit about maybe what's going to happen this season. Steve, what's your thoughts? What's our record going to be?
Yeah, well, let me just unpack that a little bit. As I posted on our Facebook page on the preseason assessment, this really is sort of like you're talking about tale of 2 seasons. Up front, we've got a very inviting schedule. 7-0 to start the season is not out of the question. I think 6-1 at a minimum if we play up to our potential. And as Phil Steele said, we don't have a lot of or 3 of the heavy hitters within the American Athletic Conference, and so that's to our advantage. But coming down the home stretch, we've got Air Force, we've got North Texas on the road, which always gives us fits. Notre Dame, needless to say no more. UTSA, a very capable team, but we've got them at home. And then we close out with Navy, who's still trying to figure out who they are.
Good.
In the post Niumatalolo era. So I optimistically, I can see 9-3. And especially after talking to Worley and just seeing where Bryson Daly is, if he plays up to his potential, stays healthy. But then again, it looks like the pipeline is primed behind him. And defensively, it seems like every year, oh man, we've lost this stud, we've lost Radigan, we've lost Christensen, boom, boom, boom. And it's next man up. And I just think Monken's got the program where it is next man up. They've got the development cycles for the players. They're recruiting good talent, and I'm excited about our inaugural season in the American Athletic Conference.
I concur.
So, what's your prediction, Barrett? What do you think we're going to do this year?
I agree with you. 9-3, I think, is very attainable, and believe it or not, I think the 3 losses, as much as it breaks my heart to say that Army will lose, I think it's between Notre Dame, UTSA, and UAB. I think UAB will give us a run for their money, even though and you look at the beginning of our schedule, the American Athletic Conference teams we play at the beginning are kind of the lower teams from last year, but UAB's on there, and North Texas, UTSA, they're kind of the top ones. But I think Notre Dame, UTSA, and UAB will give us a run for our money. We'll beat Air Force and we'll beat Navy and win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
Okay, well, hey, I'm going to go 8-4. I'm going to be a little more conservative.
Debbie Downer. Debbie Downer.
So let's get a quick prediction for the game. I'm going to go with what Phil Steele said, 49-7.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's the expert.
Hit the easy button.
The computer button.
That is the easy button.
Yeah, I'm going to say 41-10. But I think this is going to be just a great game to watch.
I think it is going to be 35-7. I think Army's going to come out, just score 5 touchdowns throughout the game, put in their third strings, and just let it roll after that.
Well, we'll see what happens, but it's going to happen Friday night at 5:00 Central.
Friday Night Lights.
Stadium.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights.
Stadium, with half Mikey Stadium, I guess, nowadays. So, Steve, how many days?
Sir, there are 107 and a butt days until Army beats the hell out of Navy at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland.
Ooh. Ooh. Guess what? It's here. Football season is here, and we will be here every Wednesday night on the weeks that we have games. We won't be here on off weeks at 7:30, 19:30 Central Time, 20:30 Eastern Time. We should have a coach and maybe another guest every week, but we look forward to bringing you Army Black Knight football analysis. It'll be the 3 of us. Sometimes Barrett won't be here, but we'll have another good, worthy person sitting in that seat.
Hopefully we can coax the Colonel Tom Economy back. He's been here from the very beginning. He's busyness of life. But we're hoping we can coax him back periodically. He always brings a whole lot to the broadcast.
Well, and again, I make that mistake. I make it many a time to turn that clock on. So, folks, as we close, I want to say this. This is what we say at the end of every show. No matter where you are and no matter what you're doing, somewhere there's a soldier who is standing a watch for you so you can enjoy the life you live in this great country. Go Army.
Beat Navy.
This is Crawdad. We are out. Thanks for listening.